Here we are in the chicken coop area. It's not very big. If this is gonna be permanent, I think so, but I'm not too sure. So here we go. You can see is we have 2 chicks and 2 ducks. We started off with 5 chicks. If I'm not, yeah, it was 5 chicks. The very first one, put her down. The very first one, good job. The very first one, I think the other 4 chickens just kind of picked on him because he was the littlest one, so he died within like a few days. And these last 2, we had a huge rainstorm, and we didn't realize that our roof here actually, like, here's some of our ceiling right here. On the top, the tin had came off, like there was a lot of wind, so it flew off, and there was rain getting in. So they, 2 of them got saved, and the other 2 died. So we're down to 2 little chicks. They're doing great, along with the 2 ducks. Stop doing that to the ducks. As you can see, they're handled almost daily with these kids. I don't want them to be handled too often. Not too often, but I want them to be calm enough where when we come in here, they're not like attacking or, you know, just super scared of us. So like I said, it's not a very fancy barn or anything. It's just a little thing. I'm hoping they will just roost on this and I don't have to actually make anything else. If this doesn't work as they get bigger, then yeah, we'll just set it up. But this was previously here. The people actually had rabbits in here, so I had to clear out all of this area. There was so much rabbit poop everywhere, which we use as fertilizer for the garden. But this is kind of what we have set up. I only have these 2 boxes set up. I had originally was going to make the other 2 or like 6 total because I had the 5 hens. But since we're down to 2, and I'm kind of just going to stay like that and see how this works out. And then maybe next year we'll get more, or depending throughout the year, if I'm getting enough egg product when these hens start laying, then we'll just leave these 2, and then next year we'll get some more. If not, then throughout the year I might get some. So it's not, like I said, it's nothing fancy. They are, he did jump off, she did jump off. Just got some hay in here. Again, this was already in this. This is an old barn that I'm making use of. As you can see, I have chicken wire that I've just put along here just to keep some animals out or whatnot. As these guys get bigger, I will end up closing, like right here in this gate, I don't have it closed off, but I have it high enough where they're not gonna jump it, and then of course the gate is closed, so that's pretty neat. Down here there is fencing here. As you can see, there's the chain link fence, but because these guys are still tiny, I didn't want them to go through the fence, so we went ahead and put chicken wire all along the bottom. And as they get older, it won't necessarily need to be there, but if these guys end up having chicks, which I'm not sure if I'm actually going to do that, like I said, we're using them more for egg consumption, so I don't necessarily want them to have a whole bunch of chicks their first year, maybe the second year, yeah. And here along, you can see on this fence line we have this gate does open, so as they get, when they get bigger, I'm going to go ahead and detach it here, and we'll be able to just open it, because my whole plan is to let them out, open this gate, and then let them out into the side yard, which you can get kind of a look over here, and let them graze along that area. But because they're tiny, they can get through those cracks. So right now we're manually taking them out, and we put them in the bucket, carry them out there, and then just let them free range out there for now until they get older. Then we'll open it. So it's just kind of a process of getting used to the chickens. We did get a new little guy, which somebody put him up here. He is going to be the guard dog for these little chicks. Now, we don't necessarily live in the country, but there's we live in the city, but we still have, like, we have 16 acres, so we do have a country vibe going on, but we're technically still in the city. We don't have really neighbors to the side of us. We're good. On one side we have probably 2 house lots, like 2 normal size house lots, and then on the other side we have like a whole slew or so of things, so we don't really have neighbors. But there are city cats. There are cats in general, so that's my main concern, is having cats come in here and eat our chickens or whatnot. Of course, snakes are another concern, so I kind of like that the chain link fence is along the bottom, and I'm hoping, or not the chain link, but the chicken wire, because, you know, it's not big enough for anybody to go through. So this little guy, come here, buddy. this little guy here is going to be their guard dog. And if you can't tell by the camera, he is super tiny. And of course, he's super happy right now. And he does, right now, he's barely getting used to these guys. But he comes from a home where they've had chickens and stuff like that. So now he's having to live in here. Hence this big old pillow here that's not even his size. He's the same size as pretty much the chickens. So, and the ducks. So it's kind of cute to see these guys running around everywhere in this area. So we're gonna, oh, that's gonna be, yeah, that's probably gonna be her area there. So like I said, I don't want them to be handled too much, but enough handle where the kids come in here, they're able to get the eggs. And the back is not going to be open. As you can see, the back's not going to be open where we can lift it and then take out the eggs, what most people do. But I don't want them to be too handled where these guys are carrying them and they're basically pets. I don't want that. These are going to be used for our egg consumption, so I still want them to have that natural hen reaction. Ducks, I've never eaten duck eggs, but these are so cute, and you can't deny how cute they are. And apparently you can really eat duck eggs, so this is going to be a first for us. Baby, calm down. This is going to be a first for us, and we'll probably get those, sell those here as well, and see if there's high demand for them or not. We're not sure, but we'll find out. As you can see, the water area kind of gets dirty really fast. Puppy thinks he can drink from there, even though he has his own water over there. This, and then even their food, as you can see, gets really messy. I'm gonna, as I get a little bit bigger, I'm actually gonna be hanging it from the ceiling. I've already seen how to make that adjustment, and then of course a bigger actual bucket in general. I'll make one, so you'll definitely see videos of that coming up, and they'll be hanging so they're not gonna get dirty and they're not just tossed around everywhere. So that's gonna be kind of cool, so you can get a conception. You see that board is right about a 1 by, I'm gonna say that's a 1 by 4, and so you can see how tiny he is. So let's go ahead. We're gonna move on to a different part of the area. Guys, I'm gonna walk out. You can stay in here if you like.
No, stop putting them in there. We're
So here is the barn. The barn we've been here since January. It is March, or it is April actually. It is April. And we are gonna, we're working on this. I am working on this area. My husband works a lot, so I am getting stuff settled, cleaning out here and there. There's one bucket of trash that I'm getting throughout. There's a lot of different stuff in this barn. You can see the handcraft in this barn. If any of you are familiar with Pat Garrett, the Western sheriff, the one allegedly known for killing Billy the Kid, this is his old barn. We actually live on his property, or what used to be his property way back when. As you can see, I love running into all these old fences, and every time we come in here and we clean out a section, like I've been working on this section here, so we got to clean it out still. You just find out all these old things, and I love it. I love finding everything. We have a lot of metal and whatnot that was left in here. Again, like I said, this is the Pat Garrett old barn. It's the original house is not here anymore. It got burned down back in the 60s, so this is all that's left of the actual original property. Of course, there's been several families who lived here before us, so you'll see stuff that's more modern in here, and we're, like I said, getting it cleaned out. I'm working on it slowly but little, but along with the barn, I also have the house, which is a pretty huge house. This is an old crib here, so I plan to put that up and see how it works. If I can't fit it all together, I'm going to use this actually in my garden as like a little gate. That's what my intentions are for it. So, and then see, as you can see, these dressers here, there's some shelving. Check those out, guys. It is super neat. I'm starting to realize that I'm a really big history buff person, and everything old is something I absolutely enjoy. As you can see, we're gonna really maintain this. We got to get some of these, like I said, since that storm came in, now we realize where some of them we thought were actually in good condition are not in good condition, so we got to redo some of these areas before the next storm comes in. Here's some of these old shelves here. This is a huge, it has a huge butcher block top on there, as you can tell. But look at all these drawers, which is neat. Some of them, of course, are all broken out. And see, when you pull it out, that it doesn't come out. Some will come out. Like this one here will come out. So it's still pretty neat. And that's what I was going to use for my chicken coop. But as is, I only need two, so I'm going to leave those there. here is the outside look if you were coming into the barn here. Or like the chicken coop area. So we could stand out here if we wanted to and just look into them. So you can see now they're just all grazing there because nobody's in there bothering them. The little puppy's out here with us right now. He's basically going to just be sleeping in here at night and then in here during the day when we're gone for the day. So it's a decent area. It's not too bad. I think these are cedar, and in my garden area, which I'll show you here in a little bit, I'm going to be using something similar to this, some cedar ones. I actually found some, which they're called cedar stays, because I kept calling around to find out what they were, and they said, oh, I kept saying cedar posts, and I said they were round, and they tell me no. So the guy actually found them from our called cedar stays. This is one of the big, I think it's a water trough. Like, I know my grandparents had one, but it was much smaller than this, and my grandpa kept like water lilies in it. So this one's pretty huge. It doesn't really have any holes in it or anything. We haven't filled it up, but we plan to do that. Oh, that rattlesnake there. Ma'am, get out of there now. Get out now. Sorry, guys. My husband, on the way home, ran over the snake, and since we've moved here, my children don't seem to be as cautious. They're very natural. They're very nature observant as far as, we watch a lot of documentaries. They have to watch a lot of documentaries. We make them watch documentaries, but they actually enjoy it. Anyways, we've been super cautious with them and just letting them know as it's getting hotter. When we first moved in, it was still cold out, but now that it's hot, we kind of need them to just be cautious of what snakes look like. And you can only do so much with YouTube and books and whatnot, but until you see it in real life, then you realize like, oh, that's what a rattlesnake looks like. We live in South Texas, Southwest Texas, not too west, not too south apparently, because when I say south, everybody thinks like right at the border, and apparently we're 100 miles from the border, so we're not that south. So this is actually a rattlesnake. He was exactly, we measured him on a pole. He's about 4'1" probably or so. Pretty scary guy. He's pretty thick. He's as thick as one of the poles that we have on the barn post right there. One of those long ones. Yes, honey.
Tell him Dad runned over it.
Yeah, Dad ran over it. So my husband ran over it, and then he just brought it home with him last night because he wanted the kids to check it out and see what it looked like, which is a good thing. Obviously, we're still being cautious. I'm not letting them stay near them. This brush right here, I've been burning slowly. Just hold him. He's okay. We're letting him. I'm burning it slowly. We have a lot of this stuff. Let me show you what it is, guys, on our property. Again, like I said, I'm telling the kids to be cautious. We got to be cautious. We have a lot of garter snakes. We have learned that. Here's this. I'm hoping this is focusing in for y'all. Right here, this stuff has really some nice pokey thorns on it. Yes, baby. Of course not. Yes.
Tell Dad home.
Yes, I told him. So we have a lot of this. Now, I left some of it on, but we had a lot within the actual, along this fencing, along right there as well, and it was just too much to have. So we've cut it down, and again, this was back in like the end of January, beginning of February, we cut it down, and it stayed green for a while. So slowly but surely, I am burning it here, and of course, people just toss their trash in there, which is fine because we burn it. Like I said, we're not in the city, but we are in the city, but we're not in the country, but we're more country than city, so that's working out for us. Out here, again, here we have another water trough, and as you can see, the kids have a little gun here, a plastic gun. They leave trash around. It's one of my biggest pet peeves. I hate seeing trash everywhere. We have a huge catfish right now. Hopefully I'm not in the shadow. Let me see, because I can't really see how I'm filming because it's super bright outside right now in the sun. Hope y'all can see that guy in there. This is probably as good as I get. My brother-in-law caught that one not too far away, and he's a yellow catfish, and then there's a couple of perch in there. This little thing is supposed to be on there for shade. I'm not sure which kid took that down. So this is, oh yeah, it's a yellow catfish. Out here we have a good size area. The kids will play ball in here. Not too much baseball, just because my son does hit it over the fence even when he's standing right here. There's another good look at the barn right there, how you can see it. See how we have to get some of that metal down and stuff like that with that storm that came in. It knocked over the window. When the chicks were a little bit younger, they were in here just to get some shade and some sunlight in. We're using those little... Love, yes. Okay. Sorry about that. Camera malfunction there for a second. Okay, so like I said, this is the rest of it. There's the other look at the barn real quick. Over here we have a lot of these huge trees. I think they're oak trees if I'm not mistaken. But again, I'm not sure for that. My little sister was out here taking pictures, so she's used that area. I actually cleaned that area out because we had a picnic, field day party or in spring party, tea party. So I just have like a table out here just randomly. We have the round one here. Again, this was already on the property, and we have our picnic table. Sorry for that junk on there. I need to get it moved out. And the kids have like a little obstacle course going on for field day. So here's one of their ropes. That was like a swinging one. It just ended up staying. No, ma'am, sir. It ended up staying. Right here on the property, we have, here's, you can see the post, and then you'll see the other post here. You can see the barbed wire. They just made like basically a handmade fence. It just has a board on it. You can connect it all the way over there. It reaches pretty well. So that fence, that can actually be cut off from the personal fence. Baby. And, then you can have your like livestock in here, and then you don't have to worry about them going out anywhere. Rest of the kids' obstacle course that goes down that way towards the property. But let's go continue this way. Again, here's the other part of the fence that you can actually close off, and the reason that you would close this off and be fenced off is so your livestock can be in this basically like 6 or 7 acres on this side, I'm gonna say. Could be in here without going into the slough, which we'll show you here in a minute. But back here we actually have some pens in this area, and there does have electricity come out here. We still have to get it adjusted and fixed, but we have some pigs. These are Durocs and Hampshires, right? Yeah. So we have 7 little piglets. 2 we're keeping, and the other ones we are selling. As you can see, those things stay on. Try to give you a better look. See how they have the hooks on? We hook these every day. Every day we hook these on the fence here. As you can see, it has the hog panel. We hook them on there, and every day they come off. We just fed them earlier this morning, so, and they're already off. Here's big old mama right here. She's kind of aggressive, not necessarily towards us, but to her own pigs, and that just kind of, that scares me. I've never owned pigs before in my life, so this is something new process, but our son's gonna be showing in 4-H. We need to put down the hay in here, the shavings. If you saw the chicken coop, we had the shavings, so we need to put some new one down because this one's already getting old. So you can see the other 2 panels have it in there, so we got to come and get that done here later this afternoon. And when we let them out, come out into this area here. We have the kids. Again, we live in Texas. If you've never heard, there's hog chasing. You can chase your hog and get them, piglets. The main point about chasing the little piglets, I know a lot of people find that, what is the word? I guess they say it as wrong, but what they would do back in the day, as you can see, he's drinking water there. We fill those things up every day. We actually have a well on the property, and the water connects this way, but the well is not turned on right now, so the electrician's supposed to come out pretty soon, and we're going to get that figured in. A lot of cost comes in with moving into a new place, like anybody knows, but it's just a little bit more than we can bite off. So we are manually having to transport water over here, which is become a huge chore, but thankfully the children don't find it too hassling and get it done every morning. And then even in the afternoon we come and make sure, just because they need water, so we have to make sure. Thankfully this was already set up here for us, so we didn't really have to invest too much besides just the manual labor. So back to the topic about chasing the pigs. So back in the day, they would set out little piglets when farmers or ranchers would have so many piglets. They would set them out, and if you caught a pig, you basically got to take it home, and that was your supper. So it was kind of a tradition, and they still do that in the same county. It's still in our county, but a few cities out, they have that every year. They have an annual fest for them. So the kids like to practice here, but that's not exactly why we do it. We do it because, like I said, we're going to be showing these guys in the stock show, so they need to be handled and walked on a daily basis. Here is one of our feeders. Can you get off of there, please, ma'am? That again was already on the property, so we got pretty lucky with a lot of stuff that was already on the property. We have the feed in here. We're just doing some regular basic feed. Thankfully, all we've seen is garter snakes in our area. We haven't seen anything past that, but scorpions are a whole nother thing. We've only seen 5, and to some people it's like, oh, that's not a lot. Old sheet scooter right there. Shooter thingy right there. And so we haven't had any scorpions inside the house, which is pretty neat. See this weed right here, guys? This weed is horrendous. This weed was in our yard, and I mean like back in, like over there in our actual personal yard, which I think is like about an acre, is fenced off, was in there about that high, all the way through, even through back here, all through here, right here was that same weed. It was so much work to get done. Thankfully my husband did it. I did nothing compared to the work he did, just because I used the weed eater. We have a machete that we use too, and it was just so much. Okay, so here's probably like the other, I'm gonna say 6 acres of property that we have, I guess. I could be wrong. I don't know how much. I know total we have like 16. I don't know how much everything is like divided into. And what I mean by divided is, like I said, there's the fence line that you can see, and that's for like livestock we want to keep in the personal property, in the personal area, not personal property, personal area, so that way we don't have to worry about them coming in here. Now, could they come in here and graze? Definitely. They can come in here and graze. Sorry about the wind, guys. Down there on that part of the, down there part of the bridge, it is fenced off. But when you come to this bridge here, it is not fenced off. So if our livestock was to get out here and without anybody super watching them, I guess, they could go through there and then go to the other side, which is not our property, because our property in line ends at that part. You see, it's fenced off over there, so we kind of don't have to worry. If they're not smart enough to go under there, then yeah, but it is fenced over there, so we don't have to worry. It's fenced all the way around, again through here, just not right there in that area. So we may just fence it off. The only thing with that is the fact that if it rains and it gets flooded, which is not likely, like it never floods in here. It's very rare that it floods in here. And we're talking about, as you can see the hill, we're talking it's a good 8 feet, maybe 10 feet up at all, maybe even higher. It might be 12. I'm not very good with estimating, guys. As you can tell, I'm not very good at estimating height wise. Hopefully y'all can see this, and I see the sun is hitting whatnot throughout here. What did you find? Oh my goodness, how cool. It is neat. So again, like I mentioned Pat Garrett earlier, apparently he was a horse person, so he had horse races out here with I'm not even gonna say the name. I know it's Theodore, but I'm not even gonna say which one it is, because I know, or Garner. No, I'm not even gonna give you a reference, because then I was totally gonna be off. Anyways, with one of the famous presidents or vice presidents, he would have horse races out in his property. As you can see, he had plenty of room to do that. So that's kind of cool. You can definitely look that up and post it in the comments if you like. And so back down this way, on this part, if y'all follow my Instagram, and yes, guys, I do get y'all's messages on Instagram about y'all wanting me to post a house tour. I am not at that level yet as house tour. My house, yes, we've been here since the end of January, but there's a couple of things I still want to get done in my house before I actually give you a full house tour, to just get it kind of set up to my status as far as how I want it set up for our homeschool environment and whatnot. So it's not there yet. Okay, in this, so what? Okay. Again, here is our yard. Mind the messiness of things, and some of you are probably thinking like, it's not that messy. It's messy to me. It is extremely messy. So there you see there's the old clothes hanger, and they have a leash on it for, I guess they had a dog on it. We have 2 dogs, but they are not tied up. They are let loose in the yard. The only time we have one guard dog, which he's pretty much up when we have guests over. Yeah. So again, this whole area got cleaned out from that like 4-foot nasty weed. We have, I'm probably not gonna take y'all all the way down here, just because I don't, my husband hasn't had a chance. He's been mowing the yard like every other weekend, or every weekend he mows it. What? Okay, as you can see, I'm constantly being called for things that are not that important. In here we have a trail that my son uses for the dirt bike. It goes all the way back down that way towards the end. It will get narrower, just like I said. My husband hasn't had a chance to come and mow this down. He uses the riding lawnmower and gets that cut down. So I'm not going to actually walk all the way back that way. And plus, I don't think my camera will last that long. We huge flowers everywhere. The slough about a week ago was filled with flowers and things, and then it got cut down. So it had to be, only because on the other side of the slough where you saw where the fence line is, there's probably like 2 regular normal lots, and the grass was getting high, and that's where my son plays baseball, because he can hit this way towards the house and not worry about it going into the street or anything. And what's it called? It was getting high, and he did see a snake over there. He's not sure what kind of snake it was, because he said it was so fast that he wasn't able to see it. Now over here is the garden area, which I'm just going to show you a glimpse of the garden area. I'm not going to show, we found that old gate in here. We're going to use it. Remember over there I showed you that we have that part that is not a real gate. They just use that fencing. It fits there. That's where that guy's going. As you can see, my son is still yelling at me. So, like I said, I'm going to show you a glimpse of the garden, because I want to do a whole garden video for that. But I'm going to just show you the area. As you can see, there's a lot of brush out here. I'm not going to show you everything. And I'm actually a little bit scared coming over here. And don't laugh at me, guys. But our neighbor, he has a dog over there. And the fence is not that high over there. There is a fence, but the dog jumps it. And he's kind of like a vicious dog. So here's the glimpse of the garden. This weekend I will be working on the fence for the garden, because we have seen 3 cottontails already in this area. 1 big one and then 2 babies. So I'm pretty sure that's the mom and the babies. But I haven't been able to capture them on any film or anything, so hopefully I can do that. But here's a glimpse. As you can see, I have some blue bonnets growing there. These first 3 have been here this whole time since I planted them. I bought them at our local grocery store, and they're doing very well. Now the other 4 that you see over there that are kind of dead, I guess I can take you over there, but that are kind of dead, is that I had them in my front yard, and obviously they don't like the shade, obviously, so they're not they weren't doing so well. So I just barely transplanted them yesterday back here. But I have a tomato plant growing there. I have some cucumber, squash. It's probably cucumber. I'll have to check the thing. I have jalapeno. As you can see, the onions are growing right there. And we have corn in a row, which is doing really good as well. And we have some cantaloupe growing. We have carrots growing. The carrots are like yay small, so they're pretty small. So you can't really see them up anyways. We have strawberry and we have watermelon. Everything is barely going in. Like I said, I just got those planted. Here's some old these were under this hole. Remember I told you how high the weed was? It was like that high. As you can see it back there. You see how high that weed was. Well, this whole area was filled that way. This whole area. So we had a lot of work to do. This was underneath that stuff. This is where the original Pat Garrett house was at. Was it within this area? Right beyond that tree right there is a fence post, and you can see the other one is right in here. I'm trying to just watch my step. Right in there, here's the other fence post. They had like I'm gonna say a gate. That part is open, and as you can see, it was connected right there. And here are these guys. So I'm assuming he had this cut off, or not him, because like I said, there was previous families, was cut off to a point. But because this was his original house area, I believe he's the one who kept that there, or the families did. But it wasn't here when we got here. But those have been there. So I am pretty sure a lot of the wood that we're going to be finding, especially back there, which we walked there when we first came in January, when the grass wasn't as high as this is back here. There is like an old tractor back there. There is a old boat trailer back there. A lot of wood. There's piles of wood out there, and it's just crazy when we haven't had the chance to really go out there and check everything out, because one, we live in Texas and there's snakes, and not only are we worried about rattlesnakes, guys, we have a coral snake. I've never seen one in my life. I don't plan to see one in my life, but if I do, I definitely don't want to be alone when I see one, and it's just something that you just got to be very careful with on that. So this is kind of, let me take a look. That is a look at like our property that we moved into. Again, like I did get your messages, I will do the house tour as soon as I kind of get it set up the way I have. I've gotten the schoolroom kind of settled where I'm missing a few pieces that I want in there, but I'm going to be looking for those. So I'll get that set. But I just wanted to give you a quick tour of like what we had going on. We're not a complete farm. I don't know if we'll get to that status of being a farm. I'm not sure I really want to do that. And like I said, these little piglets that we have, we're selling. We're only keeping 2. Only reason why is so my son can raise them, and then he's going to sell them at stock show. So again, we're not going to keep them either. I've thought about getting other livestock. I'm just not sure if I want to do that. Right now we have free range of this whole area. My kids can come out here and he can just ride his dirt bike. The kids take hiking trails. There's a little area out there that I like that I haven't finished. I've cleaned out, but I haven't set it the way I like. It's going to be more of a nature area for them. They can read and then do nature journaling over there, which is going to be neat. And I feel like if we get animals in here, even simple animals like a goat or a sheep, they're going to, one, take down a lot of the greenery. A lot of people are like, well, it's just weeds. I would prefer the weeds over this dirt all the time, anytime. I'd prefer it. I don't want a whole bunch of dirt back here. And especially if it rains, it's going to be super muddy. That's not something I'm looking forward to, because in Texas, it does rain. And when it rains, it rains. It stays hot, but when it rains, it rains. So I kind of like the weeds as long as we have a walking area. I like that. And so I'm kind of hesitant on getting animals. The only other animal on my list that I'm super excited about and I can't wait to get, and I can't give you an exact date because I'm still there. Like I said, there's a lot of other priorities within the house and the property that we have to get done before we can really invest in it, is a miniature cow. Yes, you heard me right, a miniature cow. It is real. It is a real thing. They have, and there's different breeds of miniature cows you can have, bulls and whatnot, and I plan to have one. If some of y'all already know that we drink raw milk here, not as often as I like, just because it is pretty expensive. We're talking about $6.50 a gallon, and then I have to travel about 30 miles out to go get it, so I don't get it as often. But now that I have an area where I can actually keep a miniature cow, it is something I'm looking very forward to. Again, it's something we have to invest in, and it's just not going to happen at this moment, but stay tuned because we are getting one, guys. So again, that's a look at like what's going on here. Those of you who follow me on Instagram kind of already seen that we've been on a move, because you've seen new pictures, new placements are lit, and I've gotten the messages for the tours and whatnot, and I will get to them. So I hope y'all enjoyed this little tour. If there's anything else, just go ahead and shoot me, leave it in the comments below, or definitely go to my Instagram, follow it. On my Facebook page, I'm kind of posting a little bit more of actually home and not just the homeschooling stuff as well. So if some of y'all who just want to follow the homesteading stuff that I'm gonna be starting doing, and any tips that y'all have to get me started, definitely check out on my Facebook and then message me on there. You can do that. It's going to be at Little Honeybee Home. Same thing as my channel and same thing as my Instagram, guys. Thanks again for being with me today, and we'll see you next time.